Welcome in to a Tuesday edition of the Jordy Culotta Show. Special edition here, back from the holiday.
Back.
How's everybody feeling?
Well, in America.
Sounds like holiday.
Yes. Yeah. Holiday.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. The rest of the crew's looking around like, yeah, holiday, Katie. Yeah. Your house has been the backdrop of everything.
Are you back yet?
Have you seen your house?
Have you been home? Yeah, I have been home. I have been home.
What time did you get home yesterday?
Late afternoon.
Okay, so enough time for the boys and the crew to clean up.
Clean up. It was, it was very much a Ferris Bueller's day off. Sprint home. Well, sprint to Katie's house before they get there. That's what I did yesterday.
Shit,
Jack
did still there.
Yeah, Jack did the cleanup. I was like, I'm gonna make one more lap around that place just in case.
Jack, there's still a body.
Yeah. You're missing one rug, and that's it. We're fine.
Jack's texting me the whole time like, I am doing all the dishes. I am cleaning so well. And I'm like, this is suspicious.
I don't know. That's my first time in a nice house. I don't want to be like, poor was in here.
It reeks of poor.
It smells like middle class.
Smells like the help.
Oh my gosh.
What is this, a twist off?
Happy belated 4th of July to everybody out there. Hopefully everybody had a good, safe holiday as we are back at it here on this Tuesday morning. We will talk to Hunt Palmer. Hunt will stop by at 7:30 this morning as we will talk a ton about what's going on with LSU baseball as the Tigers pick up a huge transfer. Jacob Berry, the All-American third baseman from Arizona, who hit 17 home runs last season, 70 RBIs. He's on the Team USA collegiate squad with Dylan Cruz, and they're lighting it up right now.
That would be nice. Do the lineup.
Well, I mean, Cruz was supporting the whole time. You could see that they had a relationship. I mean, Jacob Berry, when he was kind of it was being announced that he was entering the transfer portal, Cruz was liking all of the social media that was coming out for it.
And do you see what they just did in their first game since it was announced? Barry hits a 2-run bomb in the bottom of the third. They come back bottom of the fourth. Cruz hits a 2-run bomb right after him. Wow. Just they're simpatico. I think they'll be good back-to-back in the lineup.
They're almost hitting 500 in USA ball.
Yeah. Cruz having a great summer. Did that
ball in Tennessee land yet?
Oh, yeah, it's caused a power outage.
I think it just landed now.
Yes.
We will talk about Dylan Cruz will have a phenomenal opportunity on name, image, and likeness from LSU. We'll talk about NIL stuff that's been happening since July 1st, and Governor John Bel Edwards signed it into law here in Louisiana, and LSU has really taken advantage of kind of setting the bar. We talked about the Times Square promotion last week. It's been a lot more than that. We'll talk about it coming up here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Tyrus Thomas will be here in studio in the UDL at 8:30 this morning. Thomas, the former top 4 NBA pick of the Chicago Bulls, spent a ton of time in the NBA and now back here in Baton Rouge. He's a Baton Rouge native who really cares about the city. He's coaching basketball. He's got cool events coming up. And as Brock Cantro was here last week talking about one of the local camps coming to the Sports Academy at the end of July, Tyrus Thomas will be one of the faces there. So we'll talk to him. Also, a lot of support on Sha'Carri Richardson right now, nationally, all over the country, whether it be from entertainers, from politicians, to former athletes, including Tyrus, who had a great post on Instagram earlier this week talking about his time in the NBA and dealing with some mental stuff and how marijuana helped him out. So we'll talk to Tyrus coming up here at 8:30 this morning inside of the UDL. Always good to catch up with Tyrus as he'll be here in the second hour. Huge week for sports. I mean, if you like sports, if you were a legitimate sports fan, this week is about as good as it gets for you when you just talk about what you have to watch. You got the NBA Finals that start today, Game 1, which we'll talk about who we like with that matchup in Milwaukee and Phoenix.
Hot dog eating.
Hot dog eating was yesterday.
That was
ESPN totally dropped the ball. Did you see what happened? The coverage went out. The man's going for a record. He's
We
going
said
to
it
break
right.
his own record, but the splash zone, the cameras might have got a little wet.
Yeah, that guy-
which is maybe the most disgusting thing
That is
in
worse.
all of sports to
It
call it the
is.
splash zone because it's hot dog water coming down on the reporters. But the camera cut out while he's going for the record.
Wow,
That
rough
guy's
week
gonna
for
update his
ESPN.
resume.
Rough week for ESPN.
Rough start to July for ESPN.
When the cameras work, they shouldn't.
Yes.
And when they should, they shouldn't.
The drama between Rachel Nichols and Maria Taylor getting aired out on national
Literally.
television, really and truly. But so you've got NBA Finals Game 1 tonight, Milwaukee and Phoenix. We'll talk about that series coming up here. You got, if you're a soccer fan, you got the Euro semifinals and finals coming up this week, which is always pretty good television, whether you're a huge fan of the sport or not. Wimbledon. Semis, quarters, finals, all coming up this week. Stanley Cup Finals happening right now. UFC, if you're if you're a UFC fan, 264 coming up this week. Just an incredible week
That's
for
gonna be
sports.
annoying. Everyone's gonna act like Poirier's his cousin. Oh, he's from Lafayette. I know him. Shut up, dude. You don't know who he is.
Everybody related.
And then someone's like, they try and get like, they know about UFC, and they're like, oh, that's a spider monkey hole jab. I'm like, dude, that's
Yeah,
a
right.
punch. What do you know?
Right.
Just fight each other.
I will
just
talk
punch
to.
him.
I'm actually. I'm talking to my man Gabe Miller from UFC, who started the UFC fighting workout spots here in Baton Rouge. It started on Sherwood Forest, and now he's got the spot over there in Perkins Road. And he's always close to Poirier and these guys during these fights. So this is a big week for him. We're going to meet with him later today. hopefully on
Louisiana
some,
Jay Glazer.
Yes, he very much
I'm
is.
going McGregor.
Remember, we are on YouTube, we're on Facebook, we're on JordyCulottaShow.com. All of that is brought to you by Go Chevrolet, online at GEAUXChevrolet.com. Stop in and see Lee Carney and the crew over there. Great holiday specials that you can get in on. First of the month specials at Go Chevrolet down in Laplace. Used car lot over here in Baton Rouge. Whatever inventory you see over in Laplace, you can find it over here in Baton Rouge. Daily, our coffee is brought to you by Majestic Coffee, DeliciousSips.com, and our water daily is True Blue Water. It's TRU, bluewater.com, truebluewater.com.
And shout out to A-Bears for feeding the boys over the weekend at Katie's house. My brother fired up the grill. So we
Did y'all cook a deboned chicken?
no, we did not. We went
Okay.
strictly hot dogs and hamburgers. But A-Bears loaded us up, and it was my boy's birthday in there yesterday, so he was fired up to help us out. So it was a good time.
Speaking of A-Bears, the lunch menu starts today
Ooh,
in
that's
Baton
right.
Rouge. So if you're around town and you're over on Jefferson Highway, if you work in that area, the Bocage Shopping Center, stop in at A-Bears. They've got a small little lunch menu for you to get you in and out, back to the office, back to the house, back to work. And while you're in there, you can shop the freezer and take something home to cook tonight. So check out A-Bears Specialty Meats, Prairieville and Baton Rouge locations with the lunch menu cranking up today over at the Jefferson Highway Shopping.
Sponsor hat.
That's
Yes.
right, dude. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Can't have you put that on.
absolutely official.
How was everybody's holiday?
Tom
you
just reminded us of our snacks too. Let's
yes,
not forget.
we cannot.
Go Mart
you know what?
Natchez.
I wanted to tell Tom thank you very much last week for stopping in. It was great to see Tom. We put on social media with his stop by here in the Jordy Culotta Show as he came in and took care of us again. We got shelves full of food, months full of snacks here in the Jordy Culotta
The most
Show.
random requested snacks ever.
Compliments of Tom Granning. Make sure and stop in and see him in Natchez if you're ever on Highway 61. Stop in and see him out there at his convenience stores. I know you were playing host this weekend in New Orleans.
In more ways than one.
Yes.
I was like, wait, no, I wasn't here.
I wasn't going to their plan. How was playing
It
host
was
in New
great.
Orleans?
I mean, we did it up. We went to all the spots. I mean, true tourists. It's
Yes.
fun to do that with people that have never done that before.
So what was the checklist? What was the first things first
We
for
hit
New
up.
Orleans?
I mean, we started off easy at the Carousel Bar, like we're so classy, you know, that kind of
for
thing.
for sure.
Slide into dinner at Giacomo's, and then everything went downhill from there.
Yes,
Nice.
that's
The
it normally
dungeon,
does in New
patties,
Orleans.
like
Yes.
all the colored sugar drinks.
Yeah. Well, that's what she was saying. So she had friends in from Dallas, Houston that have never been to New Orleans, never done it at all.
They have, but a long time ago, but never done it like this.
Yeah, so they had to do all of the drinks. They had to go to the dungeon to get the punch. They had to have the hurricane. They had to have the hand grenade. Said I was like,
Perfect
well,
drink.
how'd they feel when they woke up?
Hangover.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. And she was like,
really
awful.
hurting.
It was just
It
so
was
bad.
tough. It was tough.
Are you
I mean,
still
I was the
hungover?
one jumping up. I mean, I was like, let's go. Let's keep going. Everybody's like, whoa, 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 whoa.
Well, that's the best thing about New Orleans. It's probably one of the best towns to wake up hungover in because you just wake up and do it over
Absolutely.
again. Hairofthedog.com.
Yes.
I spent the weekend in New Orleans as well. I did the public pool scene in New Orleans. We did the country club pool in the middle of the
Public
Marigny.
pool.
In the middle of the Marigny on Saturday, actually July 4th, Saturday and Sunday, and then on Monday we did the Drifter pool, which is on Tulane Avenue, which I believe is the only topless pool in New Orleans. The country club pool was a topless pool for a long time. Now it is just very eccentric. As I spent my July 4th there, but it was awesome.
Sunglasses on.
We ate like kings and queens all weekend. We just kind of chilled by the pool.
Were you able to eat with the tooth, or do you have to just cut it?
Bro, like I was saying before, I mean, I'm sure you can make an excuse for every body part when you don't have it, right? So I mean, but when you've got to babysit a tooth, when you've got to like just pay attention to everything that you eat, cut everything up, make everything like a small portion. It is for the. I mean, like
it's
really,
for the birds.
It really is.
Literally,
terrible.
They do. They gotta get mama bird each other.
And then when you find something good that you really can eat, you don't enjoy it because you can't really chew it. You can't really eat it.
Mm-hmm. It goes into like it's a toughness factor for most guys are like, oh, I can power through this. Like if it's an arm or a leg, ankle, whatever, like nobody has to see it. But when it's something that's in your mouth, like it's very apparent that like I'm nursing something here. So everybody's like, what's wrong with him over there? It's like, look, I don't want to have to eat like this, but I'm sucking Go-Gurts down and everything in through a straw,
cutting up pizza.
Would your tooth explode if you ate beef jerky? Probably.
Yeah, I mean, really, it's just like crunchy
it's the initial
stuff.
bite.
Yeah, I mean, it's stuff that you bite into with your front teeth. I mean,
all foods.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be sponsored by Smoothie King.
It would be a great fit for sure.
Speaking of name, image, and likeness, Miles Brennan has Smoothie King, Canes, and I think one more that he's also pulled the trigger on. So
I saw Canes. I didn't see Smoothie.
Yeah, I read that today.
He's got the G-Wagon now.
I think he might be the most sponsored NIL athlete in terms of reach so far.
He better be the starting quarterback.
Yeah, he's setting himself up for either. Like they must know something we don't.
Name, image, and likeness has obviously been crazy since it took off last week, and I can say this, that it looks like LSU has really set the bar and set the standard on kind of getting out in front of this, and I think this is another compliment, as we've done over the past couple of weeks here, in pointing out the differences in the athletic administration and the athletic building now under the direction of Scott Woodward and Stephanie Rimp, for that matter, in just the organization and the ability to create a message and publicly push a message that really fits and then really takes hold. I mean, if anything that we've seen here with name, image, and likeness is that LSU has been almost a spokesperson nationally for this, as we referenced the ESPN piece a couple of weeks back or last week, where Heather Dinich was going in and investigating NIL stuff and how it was going to affect colleges and campuses around the country. The takeaway quote from that was from Stephanie Rimp, who's the deputy director of athletics over at LSU. And really, for all intents and purposes, if you understand how the structure of the athletic building really runs, Scott Woodward, as the AD, is really kind of the politician of the crew. Of the group. He makes sure that the relationships, whether they're around campus, whether they're through donors and boosters, whether they're through politicians up at the state capitol, stay in line so when they need business done, that they can get it done. And that is Woodward's primary responsibility in the way that he draws up his department, is that he's a relationship builder, he's a relationship procurer, he is someone who is going to oversee the function of the athletic administration, but he's not going to be with his sleeves up every day in the day-to-day operations of what's going on. He's going to have an understanding, and he's going to have clearance, and he's going to have an idea of what's going on. But as far as in the mud, as far as down and as in the stuff, getting it done, that's Stephanie Rimp's department. I mean, really, she's running the day-to-day operations of the athletic building. Verge Alsbury, too. I know a lot of people don't want to hear that and want to hear his name right now, and it's not popular to say his name publicly, but there is a reason why Verge
makes the cut,
has kept his job, and that is just the truth of it. Mm-hmm. And the reason is because it's a ton of responsibility. Be very, very difficult to replace Verge, and I'm not suggesting where he's coming from deserves that. Again, I'm not getting into that stuff, but I know what Verge Alsbury means to the department every day as far as the day-to-day operations of that business go. And he and Stephanie really are the ones that are in it every day, making sure that it runs. Scott does a great job politically to make sure that LSU can get all the business done that they need to get done at the time it has to go down. But as far as being prepared for NIL stuff, as far as being a reference point for national writers to come down and look at the model that LSU is offering to their student athletes, all of that is really the direction and the under the guidance of Stephanie. That's why she's quoted in that ESPN article of saying, look, it's like trying to fly a plane and building the airplane in the sky.
Yeah.
That's the takeaway quote that everybody's really kind of taken, into the first week as we sit here on July 6th of name, image, and likeness, is that, you're just kind of figuring it out as you go. And another advantage that LSU has had here early on was that when Governor John Bel Edwards signed this into law last week, LSU is the only school that I know of at this point, if they're not, they're one of only a few that will allow student athletes to use their school marks, which is their logo, their likeness, LSU's logo and likeness, along with their facilities. And this is a notable difference in what we've seen from name, image, and likeness in states that have, enacted these laws early on. Several schools have come out and really just outright prohibited it. Just saying that it's not going to happen. We will not have a relationship between our facilities, our logo, our university, and our student athletes. And for whatever reason, LSU had the foresight here to make sure and include this in whatever they were going to roll out early on. And I can tell you that this has been very well received on the recruiting trail. And that's really why this was done.
When does the arms race start? When other schools are like, yeah, I messed that up, I'm going to steal what they're doing, and you kind of look
as soon as you lose a 5-star, soon as you lose a big-time commit. And I know that LSU lost an offensive line target this weekend, Kelvin Banks, to a school like Oregon. Oregon is going to be a team that is really going to see a benefit here because they've got a ton of money behind them, right? The big market teams like USC, Texas, Miami, Texas, back
and then expand
overnight, right? Just because of the opportunity that name, image, and likeness gives you in recruiting. Texas, if you're keeping up with Texas's social media on this NIL stuff, they have really, really done a great job of looking a lot like they're prepared. Now, I know behind the scenes, a lot of people will tell you that you try to interview and ask on what's going on, and they can't give you, outright full detailed answers of what's going on just because of the unknown right now. But Texas seems to have a grasp on at least where they want to go with it. And I know that is jumping out to their student athletes and future recruits, notably Arch Manning. They made a big impact on Arch, Cooper, and the crew when they went over to Austin a couple of weeks back with NIL stuff. Because remember, Walker Howard, Eli Holstein, Arch Manning, that recruiting class that we're going to talk about now for every day for 2 years, by the time they get to campus NIL stuff will be much more clear. It will be much more figured out, or at least the functionality of it will be. It will be figured out to how you can just get this stuff done. How you can work as a starting quarterback for a school like Texas, LSU, Alabama, and make so much a year.
The Barstool video sums it up about what's it like to be a Barstool athlete. She goes, I don't know.
Yeah.
What does it do? I don't know.
What do you get? I don't know. What do you have to do? I don't know. Are you in? Absolutely.
At least there's something now where there's an avenue for me to make money now. So kids are just like, whatever, I'll go with it.
They're jumping at the first thing that they're offered, it seems like, in a lot of cases, because they don't know. They're reaching out to other companies to be like, would you be interested in doing a partnership? And companies don't know whether to say, like, they're not going to say no, so it's like, well, yeah, we'll say yes and figure it out later, and you might not be here in 6 months. We don't know. But they're just trying to gather as many hens as you can in the coop, essentially.
It's like that YouTube. Remember, like, when people can make money off the internet, everyone's like, I just want to make money off the internet.
Yeah.
And they don't know it. It's just like, people are doing that. That's new.
Look, I mean, if you were paying attention to our social media on Friday afternoon, I mean, we've kind of taken the Barstool model and presented it as opportunity to student athletes around the area. I mean, we believe we have an advantage in the space because we've got the relationships that are built up in that area of guys that we've either met through recruiting or covering the sport that, you know, we believe that we've got a small amount of trust, and once we put it out on social media, our DMs exploded.
It really did.
With athletes not only from LSU, not only from around the area, but all around kind of the Southeast. And I think that, you know, we are definitely discussing on how we can own a piece of real estate within name, image, and likeness because the space is so wide open. I mean, think about the amount of money in advertising in college sports, and now these guys have direct lines or want direct lines to these athletes. Why can't a student athlete come sit down on this couch and we just either interview him or have some type of Q&A where we give the opportunity and the platform, which we have, to speak to so many people a day or give access to advertisers or business owners or decision makers behind the scene that cut their own checks for their advertising and say, hey, I'd like to get to know a offensive lineman at LSU, or I'd like to get to know a pole vaulter at LSU. I'd like to get to know a high jumper or a women's basketball player or a volleyball player or whoever that may be on campus. Why can't they use this platform to introduce themselves to those people and then give those people that we've got relationships with as well? That's the advantage that we see that we have. We've got relationships with the athletes. We're interviewing Shaz Preston. We're interviewing guys that are coming up that are going to be big-time players on the college level. But we've also got guys like Lee Carney and Dr. Johnson and Dr. Spillers and Barrett Blondo over at Falaya and Charles Harvey over at Metropolitan Health Group, or Brian Redmond over at Red Stick Sports, or Randall Knockman over at Nevada's. Business owners, Rhett Bourgeois, guys that make, ladies and gentlemen that make their own decisions on who they want to promote their company. And if we can introduce them to an athlete that you may not know because you don't see them every Saturday, but somebody that may fit your message or fit your criteria of what you're looking for, and they just so happen to have 30,000 people that they can reach on social media by 2 clicks, by just hitting tweet and just hitting send. They're sitting in front of 30,000 people. That makes sense to you. Well, I mean, that to me is a business model.
It's very Italian of you.
Yeah, I mean, the middleman.
Connected, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. But I mean, but yeah, it's there.
Yeah, I mean, you can now build a brand. I mean, it sounds narcissistic that, like, your self-image, but that's the way our world is. And if you can kill it on this, and the business owner will be like, that kid plays sports, and he's electric, it's a good, like, nice kid, I want to do business with you.
Well, look,
that gives you an opportunity.
I'm waiting on the student that's going to come through here, and I think that there's been a couple. I think there's a running back at Georgia that's got a clothing line that owns his own business. Wait till he or she comes through LSU with their own business model. They come prepared to school with a business that now you can use that platform. And LSU's telling you that you can use our logos and our facilities to promote whatever you're doing. And you've got your own business that you can take the next 3 to 5 years to promote on that scale, I just think that you are the opportunities for everybody here, whether it's for the offensive lineman who wants to become a spokesperson for A-Bear's quality, for A-Bear's specialty meats, for the offensive lineman tailgate special, or for somebody that comes through here that owns her own company and wants to promote a clothing line or yoga wear or athletic wear or whatever it may be, to use that platform in the NIL space. I think that the wide open space is as far as the eye can see.
It's Wild West.
It is the absolute Wild West of negotiation and business, but it's also a space that is, there's real estate everywhere.
It's vast, but you talk about people already having a business model. I'm sure, I would imagine that you remember this, the punter for UCF.
Yes.
He had his YouTube channel already set up, and he had so many followers to the fact where he could monetize it. And so the NCAA actually stepped in and took his eligibility away because he had the ability to even make money on his YouTube channel, so he had to make a decision, and he forfeited his scholarship in lieu of keeping his YouTube channel. So, like, you're going to have... You're going to have...
the NCAA.
Oh, just so... And that was in 2017. Wow. So you're going to have kids that are going to come up with a Twitch channel or anything like that where they play video games. You know, like, look, I'm already established. I'm going to want to sign with, like, this, and this when I get to college. Or you can do it in high school. It doesn't matter. It just depends on how good you are.
Yeah.
But now you don't have to worry about anybody, like, infiltrating your space and that. And if you can get somebody like that to your school, you already have a brand built.
Right.
So it kind of works on both ways for if you're LSU and you're like, well, this could bring an extra 2.5 million followers to LSU.
Absolutely. No, I think that a school, to see the benefit of it early on how it can benefit, how it can benefit the school with somebody like Livy Dunn, like Sharif O'Neal, like Derek Stingley Jr., like all of these. I mean, that has to be some type of advantage LSU built into that formula. Right? I mean, and for the school to recognize that early on in the existence of NIL, I think is very smart. I mean, don't try to fight that stuff. You don't want to become, opponents.
If you're going to throw a party, throw a party.
Yeah, absolutely.
But how much do you think is there gamesmanship going on? Because you mentioned the quote of, it's like building a plane in the air. And she says that LSU already has people in Times Square for the day it launches. So is she just like, oh, we don't really know what we're doing. Mm-hmm. And then immediately we have Livy Dunn in New York at Times Square doing a cartwheel and presenting herself on a billboard.
I think it was for the Mike Tyson. Everyone has a game plan until you get punched in the face.
Right. And so I don't know how. I think LSU was more prepared than they made it seem going into this.
Well, I think what she's trying to describe is that
it's fluid.
As prepared as you can be, you still don't know what you're doing. Right? I mean, like, even though LSU may look like they have an idea of what's happening, they're a lot like everybody else in understanding it to be misunderstood. I mean, it's just very difficult to really grasp at this point what is legal, what is, what is ethical, what is... what's the ruls? What's the regulations?
It seems like there's none.
There's not.
No, until there are.
Yeah,
something's going to happen.
Someone has to make the mistake.
First things first, I'd snip the NCAA.
Yeah,
cut them out. I mean, whoever's got to vote on that, get into a room and make that happen, because they're going to fog this thing up at every turn. They're going to try to put their hand in it, and they don't really they don't know how to regulate it. They just put out a statement on it 10 hours before it went into law. I mean, they have no understanding of really...
right now, they're trying to stay relevant.
The scale, yes. They're just fighting for their own life.
Exactly. And there's going to be a point in time when something happens where they're going to strong-arm themselves into the conversation, make a ruling on something, and then it comes down to the school if they're going to listen to them or not. Mm-hmm. And as we've seen, especially at LSU, if you don't listen, nothing really happens.
Mm-hmm.
How did they lose their seat at the table? Conferences called the shot?
Yeah. Conference presidents. Yeah, conference presidents. I mean, we don't need you.
They've been amazing this year. They probably had the worst PR.
We don't need you. I mean, outside of March Madness, outside of the NCAA basketball tournament, they don't do anything.
I mean, what's the
shoot themselves in the foot?
Once the conferences set up their own TV deals, that's when they really saw the NCAA start to lose power. And I think it's interesting that the confluence of this happening, along with the 12-team or 16-team playoff starting to start. So you see these bigger brands are now going to be out there, like you said, a USC, a UCLA, even Oregon. All of these schools are going to be relevant again, and that's what I think college football was looking for the most.
UCF, they can get into the playoffs. There's 80,000 people there. They're in Orlando.
Gus Bus, baby.
Hop on.
No sweeter position in the country right now than Gus Malzahn.
Really, they can make money
from where he
that.
is, from what he can recruit to where he's coming from to the money he's got in his pocket. I don't know anybody with a sweeter gig than Gus Malzahn. Hunt Palmer is here next. He will be in studio with us. We'll talk all about LSU baseball, Jay Johnson, the success that the Tigers are having in the transfer portal as they pick up a absolute animal from Arizona. The middle of LSU's lineup next season to think about is pretty fun. We'll do that with Hunt Palmer next year on the Jordy Culotta Show, brought to you daily by Go Chevrolet. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, jordy@jordyculottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. jordy@jordyculottashow.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, presented daily by AdvantaClean. Remember, you can find AdvantaClean online at advantaclean.com. Get in touch with Bradley Lynch, his crew, if you got water, fire, or mold damage around the house, around the office. Get in touch with AdvantaClean. Bradley Lynch and his whole crew. They're over at Industrialplex here in Baton Rouge, but you can find them online, advantaclean.com. AdvantaClean helping us out here. And can help you out, water, fire, or mold damage around your house or around your office. Hunt Palmer is with us every Tuesday here on the Jordy Culotta Show, and it's good to see the man inside of the UDL. Happy belated 4th. Good to see you.
Great to be here.
The news of Jacob Berry,
yeah,
the Arizona transfer, All-American slugger last year. His dad played for the Cajuns in college, Perry Berry.
Perry Berry.
What an addition. I mean, lefty's a switch hitter, third baseman. First off, what does the news of getting him mean, and then how's it shake up the current status of LSU?
So it's a huge get. Obviously, he's an All-American player. He's a switch hitter that hit 17 homers and 360, and is playing for Team USA and hitting homers. Like, he's just really good. So yeah, it's a huge bat right in the middle there that you pair with Cruz and with Morgan. And Doty be back. You hope the Dugas comes back, and you really have a really good top 5 there. As far as defensively, he's not a great defensive player.
Okay.
So the potential is that he could play first, and you would send Morgan to the outfield. If you just really want Morgan to play first base, you think it's that important, he's either DH or maybe a third baseman.
I mean, he's a great first baseman.
He is a great first baseman. But, God, their infield defense was poor last year. And if you can get Merrifield, who's a junior college player from LSU Eunice, to play defense for you at second or third and move Doty around and Thompson very likely being your shortstop. You're way better defensively, which is, LSU's really good teams have been really good on defense over the last 20 years. I mean, I can't really speak to how good the 93 team was on defense. I didn't see them, but you didn't have to play a ton of defense there, just hit it a long way. It'll be interesting. There are some moving pieces that can be moved around. I think the offense is going to trump the defense, but you can get better defensively if you move some of those pieces around. We'll see what they decide to do. What
have you made of the early return here of Jay Johnson?
I think it's good. I mean, I think he's shown throughout his career that he's a great recruiter. The players on LSU's team have kind of been excited about him, sending out some things on Twitter. It's early. We will see. This is not. It's not one of those deals like football where you jump in, you're hired in the middle of December, and you rush to put together that first class. His class is already done. He can go add a couple of his transfers from his old school, and there's 2,000 other people in the transfer portal if you want to look around and do that. Hadn't quite gotten there yet. Got to work on getting a staff put together, but I have no reason to believe that he won't do a really good job.
Are you monitoring summer ball, and who's jumping out to you?
So it's been a little bit of a mixed bag. Obviously, the Team USA guys are just up there playing inter-squads. They're not playing Cuba or Japan or whatever they would generally do. But obviously, Cruz and Barry have made some waves there. Some guys have just started within the last week. The pitchers haven't really done anything to this point. So it's pretty slow. It's not the usual LSU sends its 5 best players up to Cape Cod, and you can keep track of them. The guys are really spread out, some in Florida, some in the Midwest. There's just not a... And they all got there kind of late, so it hasn't been very busy.
Yeah. What do you expect Marceau to do?
I expect him to get drafted in the, third round and sign for $412,000 and start his pro career. I think he will. That position, the nature of that, it's just there's so much risk involved with trying to come back. And I think that it's enticing for a kid from Louisiana to maybe come back and look at the team that they could potentially have offensively and realize the part that he could play and making it a really, really strong team. But the other side of this thing is, you're one pitch away from not doing anything for any money. So I don't expect him back.
Hunt Palmer joining us here as he does every Tuesday here on the Jordy Culotta Show as we talk a ton of LSU baseball off season and name, image, and likeness stuff. Talking off, you got baseball before we jump on?
I did want to hit one more baseball question just before we got there. Former Arizona pitching coach gets fired for even meeting with LSU. Do you think that kind of pigeonholes Jay Johnson to hire his former guy, or is it still a very open entertainment for the job?
It's the same way I feel about some of the players on the roster that you have to tell sorry. Like, he's not here to babysit or to make people happy or to do the right thing. Like, he's here to win. You win. So you hire the best guy. You don't, oh, no, now I've just screwed that up. No, you just hire the right guy. If he's not the right guy, move on.
Is it concerning that the jobs are not filled yet?
No. That's just not a time-sensitive thing. I think you've got the ability, you've got the checkbook, the exposure, the nucleus coming back, that it's a really enticing job. He's just got to make sure he finds the right guy. No stone left unturned.
You mentioned Gavin Dugan. Janet asks inside of the bunker, you expect him to come back, right?
I don't know anything.
Yeah.
It just feels like it's all those factors where he's not a huge draft prospect. He's from Louisiana. He knows all these guys. He just had a really nice year. It just feels like one of those guys, one of those Mason Katz, one of those Rafe Rhymes that, they can go and be, and get drafted and get a little check, but there's probably a better decision in terms of memories and experiences for the rest of your life to put off riding buses around Helena, Montana, and maybe fly chartered and play on ESPN against Florida, and maybe go to the College World Series.
Especially with NIL,
you make more money doing that.
What have you made of name, image, and likeness?
It's the Wild Wild West. I mean, it's just one of those things where I think it's great for the kids to have that ability to do that. I don't care about it. All I care about is what they do on the field. That's just my personal. It's the way I look at sports. I don't worry too much about what people do off. I don't care, any of that stuff. Just go play, and that's what I'll pay attention to. Somebody wants to sign with Canes or walk-ons or whoever, great. I don't really care.
Yeah. Tonight is the match with Bryson DeChambeau
and no caddy,
Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Phil Mickelson. You are a golf fanatic. Yeah. Will you be watching this? And what do you make of these events?
I'll watch it. It's fine. We were joking. A buddy of mine yesterday. We're joking. Aaron Rodgers put out I had a quote that they were saying how much golf he played. He goes, I really don't play. When I think about sitting in traffic for an hour in L.A. and then spending 4.5 hours on the course, that's 5.5 hours that I could really be doing something else. I could be reading something cool on the internet or meditating or going for a walk on the beach. And one of my buddies like, that's a really good quote. I said, that's the stupidest thing I ever heard. I can either go out there, have a couple cold pops, play some music and fire at pins, or I can meditate. I don't think so. Just give me these clubs. I couldn't disagree anymore.
Meditate for 5 hours.
Why does DeChambeau not have a caddy?
Oh, you didn't hear about this? Well, his caddy has been with him a while, and apparently, it's impossible to like Bryson.
Sure.
He's immature. He's a jerk. He treats people poorly. He's just not likable in any sense. He's interesting to some people because he hits it a long way, but he's not a nice person or a cool person to be around at all. When he won the U.S. Open, he went and ate pizza and drank milk with the Barstool guys. But he's got his caddy out there in the morning, and then he walks the bag for 5 hours on the golf course while Bryson's, doing science on the green. And then Bryson goes to the driving range until 10 o'clock at night and hammers golf balls, so the golf channel cameras can say, oh, Bryson, last guy on the range.
Yeah.
It just takes forever. And it's the best paying caddy gig on the PGA Tour because he makes a lot of money on the course. And
endorsements.
He almost left Bryson. Bryson said, I'll pay you more. And so they worked out a deal, and he makes a ton. It's a 7-figure job. But he just had enough. And so on Wednesday night before the tournament, where the Rocket Mortgage, where Tyson was defending, he's like, dude, I'm out of here. I'm going to go drive this shuttle at Bandon Dunes. I'm out. So that's where he's gone. Bryson's got to find a new caddy. I don't know who he's going to find to do it. Money talks, so he'll find somebody. But that is not a fun job to walk around with a guy who's yelling at rules officials and telling cameramen to protect his brand and saying there's fire ants next to his ball. And he's just impossible to deal with.
And then you have Brooks that does on that same day he posted National Best Friend Day. His caddy is wouldn't have anybody else on the bag, so they're steady going at each other. Do you think that has a lot to do with what the PGA put in place with the money deal?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all that. Now, Bryson and Brooks don't like each other, and I don't want Brooks telling people that got kicked out of the tour event, hey, I'll get you a case of beer for yelling at Bryson. Sweet. We don't need that. Now, National Best Friend Day with your caddy when Bryson's caddy decides to leave, that's needling and that's funny. Unfortunately, they're going to be on the same Ryder Cup team this year, and they hate each other.
Pair them together.
That will not happen.
Hunt Palmer joining us here. What did I want to talk to you about? Oh, Dare Rosenthal. What does that mean?
Yeah, Cam Wire's the next guy up. You lose some depth, and it's disappointing, but we just did this whole thing last year where he had to miss 5 games. It's not surprising, and just an opportunity that he let get away. And I think there are a lot of people that would point to the rule and say it's a stupid rule and a bad rule and change the rule. And okay, I don't disagree with that totally, but the rule's in place, so it is what it is.
Have a good week. Thank you for stopping by here with us on Tuesday. We will speak to you next week. Thank you, man. Happy 4th of July.
MLB draft coming up, so let's get after it.
When is that?
In a week and a half.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think next week sometime.
Lighter one.
Apparently he's going 4th. So
there's three better players.
No, there aren't 3 better players. There are 3 cheaper players. So.
What is it? What did you take away with Mississippi State winning? I know last week.
They earned it.
Yeah, you said you didn't want another one at the table in the SEC. But now that they're here,
no, they lit Rocker up, and they got a great coach, a great facility, a great program, and off and running.
Hunt Palmer, we'll talk to you next week.
All right, see y'all.
Hunt Palmer every Tuesday here with us on the Jordy Culotta Show. We're brought to you by Johnson Spillers. Remember, they are our dentist here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Helped us out last week with the tooth extraction. They're going to help us out with the tooth implant here in a couple of weeks. Had the bone graft and the gum, bro, for your holiday weekend from Johnson Spillers. As miserable as that sounds, they made it delightful over at Johnson Spillers. Go find out for yourself online, johnsonspillers.com. They're on Facebook. They're on social media. They're all over the place. We'll be back and close out hour 1 here on the Jordy Culotta Show, brought to you by Go Chevrolet. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, Jordy@JordyCulottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. Jordy@JordyCulottashow.com to learn more. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in LaPlace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show here live on this Tuesday. Brought to you daily here by Go Chevrolet. Check out the crew online at GEAUXchevrolet.com.
I'll be stopping by this week to buy a car.
Oh, really?
All right, in the place.
Nice.
New car lot or the used car lot in Baton Rouge?
Used car.
No, not the place.
We're not there yet.
Go Express Auto Sales.
What paycheck is he getting?
Florida and Sherwood.
I know a guy like waste management.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm looking right at him.
Concrete. Good stuff from Hunt Palmer. Thank him for stopping by here on this Tuesday. We'll talk to Tyrus Thomas coming up here. Ty will be in studio with us in the UDL at about 8:30 this morning. He has got a cool event coming to Baton Rouge. He's going to host a basketball tournament around the Christmas holidays. He's a basketball coach. He'll talk to us a little bit about NIL. Also, the Sha'Carri Richardson fallout, which you were seeing great support for Sha'Carri all over the country, whether it's from entertainers, politicians, athletes like Tyrus Thomas, who told a great story on Instagram. Lloyd, you tipped me off on this.
Oh, yeah. I follow him up a good bit because he's kind of helped navigate the digital space a little bit. Like, he's doing his own podcast and like vlogs and stuff like that. So it's been interesting to follow like the next chapter of his career, but to see like the struggles he went through, because it did seem like coming from LSU and into the NBA, it all happened very fast for him. And so for him to be able to talk about his struggles with going, like, basically becoming a superstar after that NCAA run, and how he used marijuana, like, that wasn't his first option to be able to do it, because how would you say it? Power moves slowly, like the NBA. It wasn't necessarily legal, and so he had struggles with team doctors and trying to figure all that stuff out, and so he decided to kind of quit basketball and be able to heal himself through marijuana. So you're seeing a lot of this with athletes nowadays that feel empowered to speak about it because the times have changed. So I found it very interesting.
LaMelo had the best take. If it ain't crack, let her run track.
If it ain't crack, let her hit the track.
We are huge Le Batard fans here on this show. Routinely go to Le Batard for either strategy or some type of idea for segment that is usually paid off. He is now on YouTube, and over the weekend, actually going into the weekend, I sat down and listened to the, I believe it's about an hour long. It runs about 55 minutes with Matt Sullivan, who is an author who has direct access to the Brooklyn Nets. And I mean access like you're looking for if you're a sports fan. If you want behind-the-scenes stories of things that were going on, whether it was with Brooklyn, with Kyrie and KD, or things going on behind the scenes, or you just want to hear how much weed KD smokes every single day,
or how crazy Kyrie is,
you got to listen to this Matt Sullivan interview with Le Batard and Stu Gatz on their YouTube station, because it's 55 minutes of just radio or insight interview gold. I mean, it is, in our business, it is. I mean, Le Batard throughout the interview is like, Matt, are you okay saying this stuff? Like, I mean, like, are you giving us too much information? He's like, are you going to get, I mean, are you going to get some trouble? Yeah, you're going to lose some access over this.
That's what I wanted to ask you, because I texted you when I started watching it, and I was like, I know you like Le Batard like I do. I was like, dude, if you have time this weekend, check this thing out, because it made me uncomfortable how much he was sharing. And so it made me think of you, because like Jordy has similar access to where, you know, there's obviously things he knows that he doesn't say, and this guy was saying all of it. He did not stop at one point and be like, oh, I probably shouldn't say this here. He was just like, ask me anything. I was blown away about how much access he gave away, so it made me think of you and how you like, I wouldn't cross that line.
Well, I mean, my line is very understood with our relationships, that, I mean, there's things that you're going to see and you're going to hear that you're not going to say, just because that gets you the access. I mean, that's what allows you past the red line. But what he was doing, and what the way that I understood it, the way he was explaining it, was that he was telling those guys the entire time, like, you're not going to have any opportunity to shut down what I say. If you give me full out, I'm going to tell it like I see it, and I'm going to say what I see, and I'm going to say it from my point of view, and I don't want to ruin any relationships. I don't want to go in to this project thinking that we're going to blow this whole thing up, but I'm going to say what I see. And I think, you know, KD, Kyrie, and the crew, they really knew that going in, and they allowed him the access. I don't think that anybody's going to be surprised by what they read, what they hear, because this was very understood up front. I mean, if you explain to somebody on the front end that, hey, we are extremely grateful for the access, but I'm not going to leave any details out of what I see. Well, 9 times out of 10, you're going to lose that access. Just right there in the moment of, okay, well, we appreciate it, but, you know, we don't want to go any further. And they allowed him to stay around and see things. I mean, they're like going to the strip club. They're going to the workouts during COVID times in Kobe's gym out in California, when they're doing things really kind of illegally. From NBA rules and kind of the rules of society at the time.
Have you seen an interview just this open?
Never. I have never seen an interview by the source give up as much information. Not only that, he's selling a book.
He's up there with Showtime.
Like, he's selling a book. I mean, usually when you're selling and on promotion tours of books, you don't want to give a... I feel like I've read the book.
That's what I'm saying. He also almost gave up too much information to where I don't need to read the book anymore. But it is that fine line of... He teased it so well to where I do want to read it.
No, I will absolutely read it.
There's definitely stories in there that he didn't tell. But I was blown away by how much access he gave up. And it makes me wonder if that's almost... a way that Brooklyn is using him to pitch their program, like to pitch their franchise, because look, this is how we do things here. Everything's cool. Like, it doesn't matter. We don't care what other people think about us. So I don't know if that's what their angle was with allowing him to be able to do that.
I read Ethan Strauss' book on the Golden State Warriors, and the name of it was The Victory Machine, and it was on the Warriors dynasty, and Strauss had unlimited access to the Warriors. I mean, he had carte blanche access. He could pick up the phone and get on the phone with KD. He could get on the phone with Steph. He could get on the phone with Clay. He could get on the phone with the owner. Trust. That's all. That's all this business really is. If they can trust you, they will allow you in. I believe that those figures want the public to see what they're doing, be told from a good storyteller. And if they believe that you can tell their story with the trust and honesty that they feel like they can, put into somebody, then you can get that ticket. You can get that ride. And Strauss is a guy that it seemed like in reading his book that he got a lot of the trust from the hierarchy of the Golden State Warriors. And the peek behind the scene on Kevin Durant was not a good look. I mean, I remember reading that, and I never really overly criticized Durant for the move. I thought it was a weak move to jump from Oklahoma City to go to Golden State like he did, especially at the time and with what had happened with the Thunder and where they were coming from. But to read that book and to hear his personality behind the scenes, where he is a hoop junkie, like he is a basketball fanatic, and that's really all he eats, sleeps, dreams about. But he is very difficult to be around. He's a very difficult personality to deal with day in, day out, to where it just feels like he would weigh on you, man. I mean, he would just he would weigh on you in everything that he's concerned with. I mean, and that interview I thought was a frontline seat to that from somebody that obviously in Matt Sullivan had spent just a tremendous amount of time. I mean, the way that he tells these stories and the amount of time that he spent with these guys, it was almost as if he was a roommate. I mean, it was almost as if he was a part of the team.
And I think that's what's so maddening about Kevin Durant is like, all right, are you the guy that smokes weed and doesn't give a shit? But then as soon as he does smoke weed and come back, he gets immediately on his phone and starts looking at Twitter. So he likes to pretend like
he doesn't insecure person.
Yeah, he doesn't know who he is. Like, Kevin Durant doesn't know what his personality is. He wants to just focus on basketball. Like, you say that, then you check everything unrelated to basketball. Like, then you want to put out this image of like, oh, I'll go down to the car, smoke weed, I don't give a shit about like what other people say. Then you immediately hop on Twitter. Like, he needs to figure himself out before he puts himself out there the way he has, it seems like. Or maybe he just really doesn't care.
Yeah. We'll talk to Tyrus about it coming up here at 8:30 this morning. Tyrus can offer some pretty good insight on that, as he spent just over a decade in the league, or just under a decade in the league, after he was the fourth overall pick in the 2007 draft by the Chicago Bulls, and spent time with Chicago and Charlotte.
Still in the big suit era too.
Yes, absolutely. And one of those imposing figures that when you see him for the first time, like, Katie, have you ever met Tyrus Thomas? Because he is all of 6'9". I mean, he is all of 6'10". You know what I mean? He is a long, big.
No flubbing that high.
Yes, right. I mean, that is an NBA guy when he walks in. I mean, definitely have to duck through that roof.
I was just checking out if you fit in here.
So we'll talk to Tyrus here coming up in a couple of minutes. LSU football continues to rack up on the recruiting trail. I mean, I don't know if we talk about at least out loud how big of a commitment and get Cade York was in the recruiting class 3 seasons ago. You know, I mean, I think when you think of that class, you think Derek Stingley Jr., you think of the highlights of that group, but you don't think of Cade York as somebody that has just been everything that he was going to be in recruiting, and has lived up to that reputation and bailed LSU out tremendously, whether it was through the national championship
Texas
year,
game, day one. Texas
game. I mean, his first test on a national scene where he drills a huge kick, to the last time that we really saw him in Gainesville in that perfectly lit night in the swamp.
Picture
where
perfect
he
evening.
drilled that 53-yarder. I mean, just steps into, and he would have hit that thing from Baton Rouge, man.
Well, I think he stepped into a tough spot, almost similarly. I mean, not nearly on the scale of replacing Joe Burrow, but replacing Cole Tracy was a terrible spot to be in, because after what Cole Tracy did at the Auburn game, he came in as a transfer with a ton of pressure on himself after you're going to give a 1-year scholarship to a kicker to come in, and then you have Cade York have to follow that up after all the heroics that Cole Tracy had. So I feel like he's handled that pressure extremely well.
No, he has. And if you remember at the time, Cade York was the second-rated kicker in his recruiting class, where LSU has gone back to the well and nabbed the number 2 kicking prospect in the class of 2022 as they offer and get a commitment from Nathan Diebert, who is a left-footed kicker out of Michigan, who is ranked the number 2 kicker in the country out of Heartland, Michigan, and is highly ranked by the Coles Kicking Camp. If you pay attention to special teams recruiting, it is very unique. It is not like, obviously, other positions like we talk about. Obviously, Kelvin Banks, the big offensive lineman over the weekend, who committed to Oregon. That came down to Texas A&M, Texas, LSU, Oregon. He had hats on the table. He had made visits. As far as special teams goes, a lot of coaches like Greg McMahon put their stock in the Coles Kicking Camp, which is an annual kicking camp that happens every year, which brings together the top specialists from around the country, and it's able to start pinpointing prospects as young as 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th grade in the recruiting process, and really be able to evaluate these guys and give a true evaluation of their ability. Somebody like Cade York, I mean, he was rated the 2nd-ranked kicker in the country coming out. I mean, can't we all agree his All-American status is something that would validate that type of ranking coming out?
So good. They just gave him a 3-star because he's just a punter.
Peyton Todd? Well, yeah, I mean, he's more of like the Brad Wing type, where he's like a punting specialist. He was, Wing was one of the first guys that could directionally punt. You could tell him, I want it, put it between the 15 and the 10 and put it on a 1 bounce out of bounds. And Wing would make that happen. I mean, I remember I went and saw Brad Wing for the first time when he got to Parkview. And I had gone to Parkview, and the football coach that coached me was still there, and he was like, "You got to come see this kid. I mean, you got to come.
Banging balls.
I mean, I want you to talk about him." He was like, "I want you to talk about this guy on the radio." He's like, "I mean, we've never seen anything like this." And they had trash cans set up
on
Parkview's field, and we went out there, and his dad was leading this workout, and he would say, "Brad, put it in that one," and he would either like on the bounce or in the air put it in these trash cans, or he would hit it. It was almost like a golf. Crazy. It was like a golf swing. It was almost
like a quarterback.
Golf shot. Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. And what he could do with the spin and how he could, make it. Remember, he used to do that backwards kick where he would.
Yeah, that's like the Aussie rules kick where you hold it like this and it tumbles back to you like a golf shot where you can put backspin on
right.
it. And you talk about name, image, and likeness with LSU. How many other schools have had a punter? Like almost certainly not the face of the team, but to be a personality on the team. So you come to LSU, you can punt and still get money here.
Absolutely. Oh, no doubt. I mean, Brad Wing would have probably been one of the most highest earners on the 2011 team behind the Badger. I mean, Brad Wing would have been, in my opinion, in the top 3 in that group.
I agree.
Of collectors.
But especially after the Florida celebration where he gets it taken away, which is almost more impressive to not score a touchdown, to get one taken away as a punter. But, like, LSU gives you that room to operate and build a brand because if you got a personality, we'll let you show it in Louisiana for sure.
Especially if you're a native. Like, I mean, he was at the time, he's an Australian native, but he was deemed a Baton Rouge kid. He had spent so much time in Baton Rouge by the time he had gotten to LSU. I mean, he really was familiar with the area, the territory. He knew people around here. But LSU dips back in to special teams recruiting, and Greg McMahon lands again the number 2 place kicker in the country in Nathan Diebert. That is one thing that special teams, that one thing that Ogeron has really paid attention to. I mean, I know that we were dumping on Les Miles last week, but you really couldn't find any more of an area to go in on him than special teams when he was here, just because of his inability to simply get a place kicker and get a punter and just tell them to do their job. He would try to overcoach them and have guys kicking the ball out of bounds. I mean, how many times you lost the Alabama game in 2015 with the ball, with the Vidal Alexander penalty, and then you come back and follow it up and kicking the ball out of bounds. Those types of things. But now, Ogeron goes and gets Avery Atkins, who in my opinion is just a weapon in college football, because you know exactly what you're going to get every single time, or I believe it's like 94% of the time, he's a touchback.
Yeah, I think the only times he hasn't done it is when LSU was trying to do like those sky kicks or an onside kick.
And he made the tackle.
Yeah.
I mean, he usually makes the tackle.
The reason LSU brought him in was because of all the woes with Les Miles of the directional kicks. When you're putting it out of bounds and getting it to him on the 40, it's like, just kick it out the back of the end zone. Man. What are we doing? Set up on the 20 or 25, wherever it is now, and play football. And then we were trying all of this, like, bullshit.
Crap.
I mean, sky kick and put him between the 10 and the 5 and the goal line. And when it worked, it was great. But when it didn't work, it's just not worth it.
Yeah, but it wasn't even worth it when it didn't work.
And the defense was great.
Yes.
Then you could look at the Alabama kickers, mid-2010s. I think his name's Adam Griffith. That kid was probably the worst kicker of all time.
Well, Nick Saban has no mental acuity to handle a kicker. Like, he treats them like everybody else on the field. Yeah. And I've heard stories of him absolutely, literally dressing down kickers and punters in front of the team. Yeah. Like, does not care. No. And that's not how you handle those cats. You got to white little wooden gloves.
Sean Payton and Nick Saban have both reputations.
Then understand why you can't do it.
Yeah, right. Well, I mean, you've got one job. I would buy into that theory. You know what I mean? It's a lot like what we talk about with the recruiting of them. I mean, it's not like anybody else. You know what I mean? I mean, you've been evaluated since you've been in 6th grade.
Wow.
You know what I mean? You know that you're either going to be a punter or a kicker pretty early on. I mean, there's not a lot of people that are going to show up to a college campus and say, hey, I can't return the punts. Let me start punting for you.
Right, Bob Rosenberg.
You know what I mean?
But I think that I would handle it the opposite way, just because they have to be such head cases, because you're out there for 30 seconds if you're a field goal kicker, and the result is very clearly defined. It's either you're good or you're bad. And so and if you miss, like everybody, I already know I fucked it all up. Like, I don't need somebody else like, you're not coming back in, dude. Like, so I think you have to kind of handle them with like kid gloves, just because of the way the position is, the pressure around it, and it's not that they don't know how to kick. It's just like it's all about situational awareness.
No, it's everything around you, man.
How many people here are going to change the pronunciation of his name to D-Bear? That's what I thought when I first saw him. I was like, D-Bear. David's like, oh, you've been here too long. It's not even
time to go home.
God, I mean, because he's from Michigan, too, so, I mean, he could be a Dibert.
He could be,
who knows? Who knows how he's?
We'll ask him
how he's pronouncing it.
Debois.
But the pronunciation will definitely change before he gets out of here.
Totally. I think it's Dibert, right?
I would imagine so.
Just a little nice northern twang.
I mean, with the
It's gonna be D-Bear.
with the Michigan drawl for sure. You gonna watch this Tom Brady thing tonight? Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Bryson DeChambeau, Phil Mickelson.
What is the finals on?
Well, the finals. Is it afternoon or is it night?
Well, I mean, I'd imagine that it's afternoon.
So it's not live; it's taped.
Television. Yeah, I'd imagine it's probably already gone down. But game one of the finals. I mean, no Giannis in the Bucks series. We'll be without Giannis Antetokounmpo in game one. It's
Spread's
in
5.5.
Phoenix.
We kind of really dropped the ball starting the season so early. Everyone just got hurt.
Well, yeah, I mean, everybody's been getting hurt throughout this whole playoff run.
Well, that was people like to bag on LeBron, but that was his point. Like, why are we starting this thing so early? But at some point, you had to do that. Like, you had to get the ball rolling on the season again, or else you'd always be playing catch-up. They should have shortened the season, I guess. Yeah. But no Giannis, I don't even know if that really is a factor for me. I mean, it's the NBA Finals. If I watch the bubble finals, I'll watch these finals.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely going to watch the NBA Finals. I think once you get to this part of the calendar for the NBA, these are the best athletes in the world going 100% every night. So, I mean, you got to watch.
Game's in Phoenix, right?
Game 1's in Phoenix.
Does this set up for a Giannis, like, victory, like a moment saver for him to come in like a game 3 or game 4 if they go down 2-0 or, so 2-1?
Builder?
Yes, like, he's going to have that moment. Was it Willis Reed?
Could set up a very dramatic moment for Giannis, without question, in the way that the finals is starting off for him. Who are we pulling for here? Monty Williams, or are we pulling for Drew Holiday?
Monty. Well, I have a Suns future that I put in at the All-Star break.
So you're betting.
I'm just riding that Suns. I got 10 to win 300, so a little future bet. Just Rod picked a couple of teams, picked Brooklyn. That one's gone.
Let's do that twofold. How many other teams were in that future bet?
I put about 4 in there, but the Suns were the night I put.
Milwaukee
Jazz,
was
Suns.
not one of them.
No, I didn't pick Milwaukee, but I could hedge if I do it early. I could hedge today, but I think I'm just going to ride it out. I feel like they're the better team.
I kind of feel like they are too. They're definitely playing with a sense of ease and confidence to them. Where Milwaukee seems like they have struggled throughout these playoffs at times to kind of find their footing. They are here, but they are here without their superstar. They are here with a
number on your house.
They are here without their superstar. I am pulling for Drew Holiday here. I'm a longtime Drew Holiday fan. I think that Holiday has paid his dues in the NBA as far as the player goes. Now, look, man, I'm a huge Monty Williams fan. I think they're going to be back.
Really?
I think that Phoenix is going to be back.
You don't think the ship goes as CP goes?
To a degree,
Maybe Book learned enough.
But I think that he's got, he is replaceable. I mean, I think that in the Phoenix Suns formula, that a Chris Paul, you can find somebody to give you what Paul gives you on the floor. Now, you can't give you the ancillary parts.
But I think that's been the biggest difference maker, his ability to kind of steer this team and lead them. Like, this is how you win. I don't know what the hell y'all are doing before I got here, because you've heard Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton both say that he's changed my life. He's changed my career. Like, before Chris Paul got here, DeAndre Ayton was everything but a bust.
He was who got drafted over Luka.
Yeah, and he was like, is this one of these bust opportunities where we took the wrong guy, won, and now he seems to have absolutely figured it out with Chris Paul.
Bold prediction: CP3 walks and they sign Kemba Walker.
CP3 is going to the Lakers after this.
Where is
sure?
Kemba's in Oklahoma City?
Yeah, he's in the purgatory of your career where you're kind of doing bad, but you go to OKC, so you get a good contract.
I mean, is he ever going to be able to recover from that foot?
That's his knees. He has degenerative arthritis.
Yeah,
in his
man.
knees.
I mean,
if you know that, then they certainly know that.
Sure. It'll be interesting to see. I think that CP, especially if they win a championship, there's no way Phoenix can let him go. You've got to bring him back.
36 years old.
And he wins a ring.
I mean, you can sign a 2-year with a 3rd-year option, something like
38-year-old point guard strolling around out there.
If he can play like he did in Game 7 last week.
I don't think he can.
You know what I mean?
It's one of the 38-year-olds that'll give you the work at the Y, but not in the finals.
Yeah.
So, I'm intrigued by the finals, but I think that I'm pulling for Milwaukee here. I'm pulling for Drew Holiday in the sense of I just think that Holiday has been such a great pro. I mean, he really has been just a great
They
pro.
both have.
They have. From the way that he's just handled everything that's happened to him off the floor, on the floor, and to have an opportunity to be at a winner, I think it'll be a great series that starts tonight. What's the spread tonight?
5.5. Suns minus 5.5.
I would definitely take Milwaukee there.
Okay, we'll see. I gotta reach out to my insider who's not in the building. I'll shoot him a text.
Snapchat Noah Tingle 2.
Noah Tingle 2. I got to Snapchat him. But I feel bad for him. But I've just been feasting on the nice, just normal mind of somebody that doesn't stare at spreads all day. He doesn't know what the numbers mean. He's like, this is who's gonna win. He called the Joey Chestnut hot dog over. He's like, hammer the over. I was like, Noah, you eat a ton, so I'm with you. He's like, 76 is nothing. It's like, okay, but. That made me think of holidays. It is 4th of July, the most gluttonous holiday of all time, because you have
Christmas.
well, I would say Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
Halloween, 4th of July, and so I didn't know what would round out like the top four.
The Drinko.
It depends on it kind of depends on what is your
Go-to food.
well that and what's your state of mind. I mean, 4th of July is kind of a hot girl holiday.
Yeah.
Right, but
You know what I
it's
mean?
over.
Swimsuit.
It's
Like
over.
there's not a lot of people within that demographic that want to sit around and eat hamburgers and hot dogs all
Not
day.
in a swimsuit.
Right. Well, no, not in a
But there,
swimsuit,
but there is a demo
that's all they want to do.
within the 4th of July crowd that has passed up their summer months, bro.
Well, and they base
Like,
the
they're
entire
not
contest
worried-
around
Yes,
eating
Absolutely,
on that day.
they're not worried about how they look in swimwear by any means.
Well, this is what my point was. I can't get fat today. All the work you do is previous to this. So once you eat, that one hamburger is not going to make sure I take my shirt off
True.
or keep it on.
True.
So the work's already been done. So I feel like you could have a couple hot dogs. You're like, oh, I made it here. Then you just chug hot dogs, chug beers.
Chug hot
Jack
dogs.
made me shotgun a beer. Haven't done that in probably 10 years.
Jack made me shotgun a beer.
The gun to his
Yeah, didn't come in last. I don't know what kid I dusted, but I felt bad for him. Threw it on the ground.
Spiked it.
Played beer pong, won. It's like, let me get out of here.
Katie, your house.
All this at my house. What's going on at my house meanwhile? I'm like, oh, really? Y'all did? Y'all played beer pong? Cool.
Security deposit.
That's so good.
That's cool.
What's the ping pong table for if not that?
That's true.
Not ping pong.
Not ping pong.
So yeah, I mean, I agree with that. July 4th, it can go either way. But probably the most gluttonous holiday has to be Thanksgiving.
Yes,
it has to be
absolutely.
Thanksgiving.
And then you go to Black Friday shopping after.
I would never.
God, I used to work it.
In high school,
How brutal.
I quit the den.
Lloyd quit.
Yeah.
Lloyd quit on Wednesday night. Lloyd quit on Thursday
a
night.
hard
The
phone
guy
call.
was banking on him.
Lloyd called the guy and quit on Thursday night
Why?
before Black Friday.
Didn't want to do Black Friday.
Not only, I definitely didn't want to go. Well, Richard Sporting Goods. I think I'm blackballed from there. Like I can't get in. But
What kind
I
of
had just when
guy?
I worked at the radio station, they had just offered me like, do you want to host the not host? Do you want to produce the morning show? And they're like, you can do it every day if you say yes now. And I was like, well, I'm not going to work at Richards the rest of my life. And I was like, I like to have a future at radio, so I had to make a very uncomfortable phone call on Wednesday
God.
about 9:30 p.m. I was like, oh, hello? He's like, you ever heard of a 2 weeks notice, bro? And I was like, how about a 2-minute notice? I'm out of here.
Yeah, you're not getting a job there again.
No, I can't even go there and shop.
Oh my god.
I live right next to it.
This is one of those rules that they would try to prohibit you from a stadium. Like, you don't think that you could get in?
I
You
would
think that they would
if
find you?
If that manager saw me walk in, he would be like, "What are you doing here? Like, who
Yeah.
the hell do you think you are?"
Yeah.
Like,
There's
didn't
like
wanna-
facial recognition.
yeah, didn't
for
want to
you.
call in, huh?
Late birthday shopping.
Yes. But when you talk about Black Friday in high school, and when I was in Alexandria, I went around and filmed Black Friday and did interviews, and it was very interesting. It
I
was
bet.
a madhouse.
I
What are some
bet.
answers you got?
Yeah,
you
we just
see any
filmed
fights?
like the raucousness. Yeah, I think they're up on YouTube somewhere. I probably got to delete them.
That would be
but
good.
they're up there.
Lloyd.
We wore suits and everything. We pretended like we were the news.
So good.
News Channel 6.
Daily, we are brought to you by RMB Builders, Rhett Bourgeois and his crew. Remember, rmb-builders.com. If you want a custom-made home, if you need a remodel, or if you need just some handiwork done around the house, in fact, commercially licensed, they can help you out with your office project as well. Online at rmb-builders.com. Rhett Bourgeois and his crew, rmb-builders.com, to get in touch with Rhett Bourgeois. We will talk to Tyrus Thomas coming up here in a couple of minutes, as Tyrus will give us an idea on the support that Sha'Carri Richardson is seeing both nationally, internationally, after her failed marijuana test last week, is going to keep her out.
Can they lift
Of
it?
the,
or no?
I don't think so.
I don't think she gives a shit.
No.
I think she's like
Don't either.
she's championing this moment instead of like
Yeah.
Yeah.
saying she's sorry. She's just like, look, this is who I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ain't beating me anyway.
Jazz
Right.
cabbage, come on.
Yeah.
What a crime.
What a crime.
What a crime. What a crime to have one of the fastest human beings on the planet
I know
sitting home.
streets are cleaner now. I
Sitting
feel
home.
safe.
I
Yeah,
know,
right.
right? It's
Right.
ridiculous.
The Olympics got worse.
Yeah. I mean, she's one of the fastest people in the world, and she did it with marijuana in her lungs.
And not even one of the fast, but one of the more entertaining people.
Yeah.
Like you're losing an absolute. She would have been a superstar
I know.
after this. Like we know because she's from LSU, but the nation would have seen her. The world. Would
This
have seen
isn't
her.
this isn't the Olympic team. This is the World Anti-Doping Agency.
WADA.
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 Nerds.
Nerds. Gotta be a nerd.
Yes.
LSU and LSU compliance and WADA can go have a water together.
That's right.
Both useless.
You don't want to talk about taxes?
So we will talk to Tyrus Thomas coming up here in a couple of minutes when we come back here on the Jordy Culotta Show, presented by Go Chevrolet.
Oh, it's a builder. I thought that was like his aunt.
Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, jordy@jordyculottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. jordy@jordyculottashow.com to learn more. Gearing up for spring and summer down here in South Louisiana, and you want to keep your lawn maintained during these sunny seasons, get in touch with our friend Blake Abear over at Abear's Lawn Maintenance, where he says, you grow it, I mow it. 225-485-8022. 225-485-8022 is where you can find Abear's Lawn and Maintenance, the official lawn and maintenance company of the undisclosed location. Go Chevrolet is proud to announce Go Express Auto Sales, the new used car lot located in the capital city of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Go Express Auto Sales is online at goexpressautosales.com, or you can search them on Facebook and social media at Go Express Auto Sales, the newest addition to the family of Go Chevrolet. Remember, Go Chevrolet is located down in Laplace, Louisiana, but now welcoming aboard Go Express, the new used car lot located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana at 11522 Florida Boulevard. Are you self-employed? Then you need to learn about Angel Oak's Home Loans Bank Statement program that they're offering, which makes you eligible as a self-employed borrower to purchase or refinance a home without requiring a tax return. If you want to learn more, get in touch with me. Email me, jordy@jordyculottashow.com, to learn about the bank statement loan program offered by Angel Oak. jordy@jordyculottashow.com to learn more. Welcome back here to the Jordy Culotta Show, live, presented daily by Go Chevrolet. Remember, starting today over at Abear Specialty Meats on Jefferson Highway, they will start serving lunch. Stop in and see them. Hot lunch.
Hot.
Yes. Po' boys, great selections. I know sausage po' boy then a specialty po' boy, and then some type of red beans and rice type selection.
Lunch plate, like grab a plate.
Easy.
And if
some
you
boudin.
Yes, that's what I was about to say. If you do go there, because this is what I did, I grabbed a little pre-cooking boudin ball, a little pepper jack. They threw it on the house. Just said, here, take one, let them know, and it was fire.
Yes.
We have the hat.
That's why we got the hat.
Nice.
I'm telling you, Hebert's Specialty Meats. Here's the deal: if you see me around town, ask me for a gift card. Odds are I got a pocket full of them, and we'll be handing out gift cards to get you in, let you experience the lunch, let you experience what's going on in the freezer. Take it home, cook it for the kids, cook it for the family. But come gift card time, come time when it's time to give the employees gifts. Think about Hebert's Specialty Meats for the gift cards for your division. If you're a sales manager, if you're an owner of a business and you're looking for Christmas gifts, think gift cards from Hebert's Specialty Meats.
And I think they put together gift baskets too.
Yes,
Meat baskets.
Meat baskets.
they do. Meat
Just a
baskets.
basket
Don't
of
tell
meat.
Noah.
And then and then I'm telling you, the tailgate package that we're going to roll out for the fall, we're going to take care of you on Friday night, on Saturday, and on Sunday. So we'll make sure that you got enough meat for the weekend.
Lot of meat.
Baby.
Whether you are at the tailgate, whether you're on site, whether you're at home watching it. When you think meat, think Jay.
Think me.
When you think me, bro. Hebert's Specialty Meats. Looking forward to that. Stop in and see him at lunch. Tell him you heard it here on the Jordy Culotta Show. Tyrus Thomas is at the UDL. He is here. He is on a phone call outside, and will be inside here shortly. As looking forward to talking to Ty about a lot of stuff and catching up with him. As we are talking a little bit behind the scenes of a 2006 documentary of recalling not only the run to the Final Four with Tyrus, Tasman, Garrett, Glenn, and Daryl Mitchell, Darnell Lazar, of course, a Baton Rouge native who came off the bench during that 2006 run. But going back and tracking this entire story, when we had Collis Temple on, if you missed that, you can go back and check out some of our content that's brought back to you by R&B Builders. But Collis Temple was really kind of the architect that brought all of these local kids together at the time, and they were highlighted by a couple. Glenn Davis, obviously, Big Baby, was the one that everybody was familiar with. Tyrus was kind of this long, lanky, freaky athlete that could jump out of the gym. And then you had Garrett, who was really kind of the basketball player, and Tasman Mitchell, who was the basketball player. Daryl Mitchell, Early Doucette, who were kind of the athletes.
Maybe he does have the dunk.
And national champion, an AAU national champion, a Final Four participant, and a Baton Rouge native. Come on, man.
Come on in.
Oh, I got a grand entry.
Yes. There he is.
I got a grand entry.
My man. Number 12 in your programs, number 1 in your hearts. Come sit down. Look at a young tea time right there.
Yeah, that's the baby.
That is a baby right there.
I actually still get carded because Dude, somebody actually.
Katie,
How are you?
Lloyd,
What's up, brother?
What's up, brother? How you doing?
Jack,
Nice to meet you. How's it going?
Tyrus Thomas. My man.
What up, baby?
Good to see you, baby.
Hey, man.
Sit down right here. We got.
We used to have a studio, huh?
Yeah, we used to be back. Well, no, you were talking about the radio station over by where you used to live on Government.
Nah, that was all government.
Yes, yeah.
Because you had the glass.
That's right.
Bigger, better things now.
Sit down, because we got a lot to talk about with Tyrus Thomas, as my man is doing a lot of cool stuff. And the headphones are no worries. Just get up on that microphone, man. If you want the headphones, you can have them. But you ain't got to wear them.
I want to look like everybody else.
Official.
I want to look official.
Good to see you, baby.
Hey, it's good to see you, brother.
Doing a lot of great things in our community, doing a lot of great things in our city. And I know that you're still unsettled because you want more, and you want to do more. Catch us up. What's going on with you? I know you're coaching the game, and you and I are talking about a project, hopefully around the holidays, where we can bring the game to everybody in the community. What's going on?
I'm back in Baton Rouge. I've been back since 2016, actually, and I'm coaching at the now Liberty High School, formerly High School, under Dr. Brandon White, and it's been very interesting. You know, my passion for the game of basketball probably exceeds a lot of people, and not because I played professional basketball, but because of the sanity it gave me, the protection it gave me, and the way it changed the trajectory of my family's life. You know, so basketball is one of those things that I'm always very, very passionate and I don't take lightly. I know, you know, it's not about people going to the NBA or even in sports, just going to pro, but it's about helping kids get opportunities to further their lives, to better their lives, give them opportunities that they wouldn't necessarily have without the sport.
Yeah.
You know?
I still think people probably see you running down the Atlanta court in the Sweet 16 after you blocked Sheldon Williams for probably the 6th time that night, yelling into the CBS cameras, "This is how we're effing gonna eat. This is how we effing eat." Talking about his passion for the game. Can you take me back to where you were in basketball, to where you left it as a pro, and now what it means to you? Because people forget. I mean, you really kind of got back into the game as a junior in high school. No. See, I don't know where those lines come from. Like, I didn't play varsity. Yeah, I didn't play varsity until junior year. Like, I played organized basketball since I was 4. Sure.
I grew up in the sports academy. My godfather, Lester Roberts, died. I was in the 6th grade. I was just entering the 6th grade. That's when I left sports academy and I went to play for Jimmy Douglas, Louisiana Dream Team. Sure. If anybody's around Dunham, and now they still in the coach
still
Jimmy
the sheriff.
Yeah. So, you know, he is very integral in my life. Him early on, big college Temple was. So like I've been around the game my whole life. You know, I've never not been involved in basketball.
And to what it means to you now, kind of in people see you as a promoter of the game, a teacher of the game around the community. I've seen that, and to what you and I are talking about, to bringing to the community around the holidays is giving these kids a platform to play on a public platform.
Right. So my biggest thing, man, is helping kids get to school. Not D1, not the LSUs, not the, I don't know who this Mississippi State bell for. I don't know who that's for. But on a serious note, it's not even about the Division I athletes. If you're a Division I athlete, you can go to Jehovah Jireh, you can go to Hosanna. This is no knock to those schools, but you can go to the smallest of small school. If you're a Division I athlete, you're a Division I athlete. They're going to find you. They have resources, they have money, they have guys that can hop on a plane to go recruit one person. We're going to fly from here. We're going to go to Anchorage, Alaska tonight. We're going to meet with their family tonight, and then we're going to fly back and be home. All right? That's if you're D1. But what about all the D2, the D3 capable, the NAIA kids? Those schools don't have those budgets to recruit, so they usually recruit locally. They have money to bring in an out-of-state kid, but they don't have the budgets to recruit. And so that's when I, talking to Jordy, and we're working on something now with a couple other entities to televise a tournament, to give our kids as much exposure as we can. I mean, it's 2021, so we can do it live. We can live stream. We can replay.
Absolutely.
We can send out packages to coaches. And that's where I sit. Coaching for me is cool, is fun at times, but I get the most fulfillment in seeing kids get another opportunity, an opportunity that they wouldn't normally get, and so that's my biggest thing. I named Big Collis, I named Coach Jimmy Douglas, Pat Green. It's a lot of guys that were in the community that, at whatever point in time and in whatever form they helped.
Yeah.
Whether it was Pat, who team I never played for, but I always wind up going out of town with him to these big tournaments and wind up getting more offers every time. So
Edward Robinson.
Yeah, Edward Robinson, he was there at Sports Academy as well, and it's just, for me, man, I come from little or nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm not embarrassed about it. I have no shame about it. So I never had the visions of being the big multi-millionaire guy. I never had the visions of being the big business guy. I literally wanted to work at the park. I just wanted to be, because of what those guys did for me, because of how those guys impacted my life, and not just about basketball, but helping me be a better man. And there's one guy at Sports Academy, Coach Chu, Malin Brooks, and he's retired now, but when I got older, I had so much appreciation for the man because his discipline is what kept me. Yeah. You know, his discipline kept me, not basketball. He was a track and football coach. You know what I'm saying? His discipline kept me. He would make me come to the levee and run with the track kids. He tried to get me out on football. I wasn't with that. But, you know, but it was more about the discipline. Yeah. And, you know, so for me to be fortunate enough to have people that pitched in and gave a helping hand. And here's the thing. They did it with the best resources they had and the best know-how they had. So even I could look back, I don't agree with everything, but guess what? They did it with a pure heart. That was the best they knew and the best they had. So now when I look at it and I say, okay, well, I got real networks. I got real resources. I could pick up the phone and call coaches and they're going to call me back if they don't answer right then. You know, so now how do I take that same passion and love and genuineness that they had, now with some real resources and knowledge and real life experience with the game, merge that together and really be able to help the kids in the way that they help me. It's not about I want to be better than them, but it's just adding to. You know, it's just like, you know, like a parent. You know, you're adding to your kids, so they should be better than you in a sense.
Not that you're satisfied, but are you getting the return on that you're looking for?
Not really. Everybody has their guy. Yeah. You know, everybody has their trainer guy and their guy that knows it all. The guy that's been doing it here for 20 years and still is just doing it and has no proof of concept, but that's their guy. Right. You know, and that's the battle, and that's not just here. I think when you look around, a lot of guys, especially former players, we've been very agitated with the way the summer ball is going now. You know, it's more of a money haul than it is anything as far as development and holistically about the kids. And I can say that's 100% of what it is, but you see that a lot. So, you know, I've had a lot of resistance here, even with just the coaches. You know, yeah, I coach at a high school. I coach at Liberty, but that don't stop me for helping a kid at Capital or Catholic or St. Michael's or I don't care. Yeah. I don't like what that do, because I don't have every kid that go to league is not college ready. That's just the reality of it. So if a coach called me and he said, "Hey coach, I'm looking for a 6'8" kid, 6'9", I don't have one at league, but I know who do got one. Yeah, right. And when I try to work with their kid, they don't want to let me help. Yeah. You know, so at the end of the day, that kid gonna lose, not me. I play ball. My ball's over with. I'm coaching for free. I hadn't made a penny in 5 years from basketball. It's because I want to do it. I want to help. You know, so, you know, but hey, man, when you keep working that wheel, eventually, you know, it'll weed itself out.
Tyrus Thomas being as real as always with us here on a Tuesday morning. The support for Sha'Carri Richardson is happening both internationally and on our home soil. She is an LSU student athlete. You publicly supported her through an Instagram post that I'd imagine hit home with a lot more people than you assume because of just the feedback that I have seen from that post. Can you talk about the relationship that you share with Sha'Carri and kind of your feelings on where she is now?
I've never met the young lady in my life. She is a tiger. One, you know, one, right, wrong, and different, we're going to stick together. Right, wrong, and different, we're going to stick together. But, I mean, the post I shared was basically about my experience. You know, as a former professional athlete that was penalized for marijuana use, I think it's bigger than, oh, let her run. You know, like, and that's what I was alluding to my post. You know, for the rules are rules, people. You know, it was once illegal for me to be sitting on this couch talking to all y'all in this room.
Right. Sure.
It was once illegal for us to drink from the same water fountain. Right?
Sure.
And so I even said, like, my grandmother was a maid, a housemaid at
on sorority.
On Sorority Road.
That's right.
she really wasn't supposed to be bringing that food home. She's supposed to throw it in the trash. That's the rules. So at some point, I was just saying, my post was more to get people to see the bigger picture of the rules. You know, we don't want to say, oh, just let her run. Nah, change the goddamn rule.
Change
the rule. You know, just change the rule. Like, the rule has no place. Like, it has, marijuana is not a performance enhancing drug. Marijuana has been proven to medicate. And so even to that, the why. So I broke down my why. 2011 is when it started. It was during a lockout, and I started losing muscle mass, but I couldn't have any interaction with the team until December. And so once that happened, of course, we come to camp, and oh, you hadn't been working out, and I had been at IMG in Florida with my guy Yusef Fitzgerald. I was there for like 6 months. We was locked out. Like, literally, I got married that year. Right after the wedding, probably a month later, I went to Florida, just trained all the way through December. So around like October, so I just started losing weight. And so when we get to training camp, of course, now everybody, oh, he ain't been working out. It's this, whatever. Cool. All right, so now they start rehabbing my shoulder. You know, these are team doctors. I don't know. I'm not in the medical field. So team doctors, your shoulder's weak. We got to rehab your shoulder. But that lasted for like a season and a half. But during that time, because I wasn't playing much, I was trying to rehab. Mentally, I just was in a bad place. Yeah, I was in a bad place, and so that's when talked to a couple of people in the organization, and they gave me some recommendations, and I started seeing a psychiatrist, a therapist, and through that, I was prescribed different medications, and it didn't help me. You know, it made me feel like zombie. I wasn't performing. I didn't even care about nothing. I was just awake. I don't even know if I was awake half the time. Worse sometimes. Yeah, like you just there, like you just a shell of yourself.
You're just there.
You just there, like
no motor.
Not like high there, like not like if you smoking marijuana and you just chilling and laughing. You're not even laughing. Yeah. Like you just literally there, you know. And so, a few months of that went on. They tried different. I think they gave me like, I don't want to say the real name, the Prams, all of them. Yeah. I mean, it was like I had Zoloft, I had Lexapro, I had
antidepressants.
I had they was giving me all kind of stuff, but none of it worked. It made me more depressed.
Less there.
Yeah, it's less there, you know. And so now I'm getting into it. Coaches at practice, over nothingness. Yeah, like literally over nothingness.
Is this you and Paul Silas? We're going back.
You know what? Yep, that was Big Paul. That was Big Paul.
Paul's strapped now.
Hey, but look, so even to that story, so even all of this was going on when they were giving me this medicine. So like they got these reports. First off, I'm barely fucking playing. So they got all these reports. Tyrus Thomas and Paul Silas have a fight. Man, we ain't had a fight. Me and Big Paul ain't fight. We ain't fight. We ain't fight. Like we ain't fight. And we went and had dinner. We argued.
Right.
We argued.
What, y'all argued in public?
Man, we argued in our locker room. So obviously somebody else, one of the other players said something, and then they made a story out of it. Cause I didn't get recorded. I didn't get questioned about it. We argued. It was a heated argument. We argued. I went took a shower. Came out the shower. Walked in his office. We laughed. We went ate. Me, him, and Miss Carol, his wife. We went ate. That didn't get reported. When I wake up the next day and I see this, I'm like,
right. You left out the best. You left out the best part.
So even that, it's like, man, I'm just going. So I said, you know what? Threw it all away, and I rolled up. And while I was doing that, I called and I committed myself to the NBA drug program. And like I said,
you told them I'm breaking the rules.
Well, I told them I'm going to test positive. Because you didn't have to say anything. Like it was so, you just have to call and say, and that was your way to keep from getting fined. If they would have tested me and I test positive, I would have got fined. So again, I knew the rules. So I said, hey, although I was in the program, I never got fined because I always just call them first. Like, hey, I need to self-admit. Right. I need to self-commit.
You gotta save this number.
Right. Yeah. So I called, like, look.
Hey, what up? It's T again.
Yeah.
But, like I said, I felt my why was more beneficial for Tyrus than it was for the rules of the league or anything else. You know, even I've been prescribed Adderall during the season. That is really a performance enhancer.
I would imagine so.
Yeah, that's really a performance enhancer. There you go.
Right. I mean,
that's a performance enhancer.
I agree.
But if the doctor prescribed me that, I could take that and I can play on it. I don't get tired on those. Yeah, I can pull up games that I took those like 20, 10, 5.
Yeah.
But I don't get tired. You don't get tired.
Minutes.
You can play all day because you don't get tired. Like I take one of those.
Let's
go.
Yeah.
You know, so like when you sitting there, you thinking, well, dang, you can give me whatever you want to give me.
Right.
But if it doesn't work, I can't try what I need to try for me to be functional. You know, and so my whole gist of that post was more of like getting people to understand how we fight, and how we combat these things, you know, and cool. She broke the rules, she suspended. Fine, cool. That's what come with it. But now how do we go forward? Something got to happen after that.
Well,
cool,
so the NBA has made change since you've been there. They don't even test for marijuana.
Nah, they don't test no more. Ain't that crazy?
It's crazy, right? I mean,
they probably should give me something back.
But is that what you're talking about in adapting?
You got to, because you have to adapt, man. You got to adapt. You know, you have to adapt. If that's the case, if you never adapt, then she can't run in the Olympics. Hell.
Right.
If you never adapt the rules, then take all women out, take all black people out.
Well, you're going to lose some of your best athletes. Like if they're committed to it, like committed to something that I know will absolutely help me, and it's not performance enhancing, like you say, you're going to get people that are going to fall off the wagon that want to even compete in the Olympics, something that big, because the rules aren't what they should be.
Yeah, I can go deep into that, but we're gonna leave that alone. I don't want that heat to this show. we're gonna leave it alone.
How do you watch game 1 of the finals tonight? Do you watch the NBA anymore?
Nah, I don't watch no ball. I probably only watch it. I watched these last few weeks just because Langston and Skylar was playing. That's it. So I'll watch a little bit, see if Lang get him some burn and see what he do. But if I ain't supporting my guys, I don't really watch it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll watch it to support guys that I know personally. But I don't really watch it.
The vibe around LSU basketball now, you got to like it with Tasman being on the bench.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. That's my guy.
What's that relationship like now?
That's
not with Taz, but just with the program.
It's actually better. You know, since Taz has been there, more guys have been back involved.
Yeah.
I think that one of his big things, he's trying to build that culture. You know, we don't have a real strong basketball culture here. So just building that culture where guys want to come back, where guys, you know, involved, helping the younger guys. I think he's done a good job.
Could you imagine the amount of interest that your team would have had with name, image, and likeness if you guys would have been able to make money while y'all were on campus? The amount of money that y'all would have made through that 2006 run?
I don't know if they did it for Duke, for Ronald Dupree. But I know when I was at school, they had number 12 jerseys everywhere.
Absolutely.
And they ain't had them since.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know who number 12 was. But I'm just saying, I've seen a lot of 0 jerseys, and I ain't seen none since. I don't know who 0 was. They used to make them very wide like a square. I don't know who the guy. Must have been a big guy. But, you know, I saw a lot of number 1 jerseys for a while.
Sure.
Hadn't seen them since. You know, and I mean, hey, but again,
adapt.
So if everybody else can adapt, we got to keep adapting.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's it. And I'm not salty about that at all, man. I'm happy for these guys. You know, but that's a part of adapting. You know, that's a part of evolving. You know, you realize that, hey, man, these kids really make a lot of money for these universities.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the whole, you know, sometimes people that don't know, they say, oh, well, you get a free education. The education's not free. Because let me tell you this, if I tell coach I ain't playing ball no more, that scholarship gone. If I tell him, you know what, I just want to go to school, I don't want to play ball anymore. Well, you can't go here. So it's not a free education.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It is an education based on them playing sports. If you don't play sports, they're not going to pay for you to come to school.
Plus practice.
Period. See, I'm finna get into that. Because once season get in, you're going to have 6 a.m. practices. And a lot of people have 7:30, 8 o'clock classes. Now, I want y'all to think about which one is going to take priority.
Sure.
So when you tell these kids, oh, you get a free education, man, nah, because it doesn't equate. For some kids it may, but for some kids it ain't going to equate. Like, Stingley, it ain't going to equate. You know, like, you just got some kids, like if Joe Burrow was still in school, it wouldn't equate. The amount I pay to go to school, it doesn't equate. And so if the school is making that, then
yeah, where's my cut?
Where's my cut? Because it's off of my name. It's not off of, you know, when they do the billboards, they ain't going to put the walk-on quarterback on the billboard. That's not who the company wants. Whatever company is doing that for the school, they don't want the walk-on. They want him. They want her. You know, they want who they want. And so that means those individuals have the value.
Did you ever play with anybody or see anybody in the league at the highest level go through something that Ben Simmons is going through, where his peers doubt him, his coaches in front office have no confidence in him, and he looks like he is scared of the game? Like in the fourth quarter of all of those playoff games, he didn't take a shot. And he was looking at a layup and passed it out of the layup almost because he looked fearful of what would happen if he was to take that shot. Have you seen somebody at your level of expertise in basketball go through the mental struggles of the game that he has?
A lot. I struggle mentally a lot. I can't speak on other people, but I know I struggle mentally. I had a lot of fake confidence. I had a lot of fake confidence, even in the Final Four, even in, like, I had a lot of fake. Just from being where I'm from, you got to learn how to fake it. Right. Like, you can't walk around scared. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you are, you better not let nobody know. You know, and so I always was able to hold my own wherever. You know, so even, I mean, you were around, like, that shit happened so fast for me. Like that, it just is like, I question, do I belong here? Do I, you know, you go from being a red shirt, not starting at the beginning of the season, to a lottery pick. Like, what the hell? Who did that? How they did that? Like, I wasn't thinking about, like, so all of the stuff that you have to think about to prepare for all of that, I never thought about it till like the day before.
Right.
So it was literally like, you know, I mean, so like for me, man, I struggled mentally, like just questioning myself if I was ready. Am I supposed to be here? And so now when you don't instantly get the results that you want to get, you know, you know, I'm looking at all the other guys that were drafted starting as rookies, and I'm not starting. I got a team full of vets. I'm not, you know, I'm struggling to get minutes. Practice is hard every day. And not saying that practice shouldn't be hard, but when I'm saying hard, it's just like, I can't do nothing right. I'm getting yelled at all day. Coach on me, vets on me, you know, and it's like, all right, whatever. So, you know, I also think that for me, I used to say it didn't, but media tore me apart. And I think a lot of guys try to pretend that
like
they don't.
Big city media like Chicago.
Oh, man. Like, if you say the wrong thing, like the Duncan Fado thing.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
They didn't explain that. They didn't explain that I told the league when they called me. They asked me to be in a dunk contest. The first reason I told them no is because I've never put a ball between my legs, around my back, any of that. I just jump high and hard, fast.
Right.
That's it. I'm going to go catch the ball in the air. I'm going to dunk it. I'm going to run with the ball. I'm going to jump up as high as I can over everybody. I'm going to dunk it. I'm not spending time doing all of this stuff here. Like, that's not me. That's not what I want to do. So I declined twice. The third time they call, they say, well, look, the fans want you in the game. I mean, look, at worst, you're going to get $15,000 even if you lose. We're going to give you 2 hotel rooms in Vegas. We're going to give you 2 first-class flights to Vegas so you can bring somebody with you. You know, it's just going to be a good time. I didn't want to go because I wasn't selected for the rookie game. And on top of that, I was a 20-year-old kid who, for the first time in their life, I had left Baton Rouge for more than 2 weeks.
Right.
That was the first time in my life.
Did you have anybody with you?
My uncle was there, but man, when you on the road,
I should have gotten that gig.
You on the road and you doing.
I should have gotten that gig.
You just.
I mean, we spent the previous 2 years together every day.
Every day.
We were together every day.
You know, and so you. It's just.
I can't imagine, bro.
Yeah, you know.
I can't imagine.
So when they ask me, like, at this point, I don't want to be in the dunk contest. I have been circling. February, I'm going home.
Right.
Like, I had been circling that on the calendar. I'm going home. So now I got to go out here. And so now when the reporter asking me, and it's crazy because it was Casey Johnson. He was at the Chicago Sun-Times. That's my dude now. That's crazy how that goes.
Yeah, that's how
my
it works.
dude now. But he's asking me, and you know, I didn't understand media at the time either because my college career went so fast that I was never enrolled in media training.
Right.
I was because I started off as a red shirt freshman, non-starter. You don't get media training. Don't nobody want to see you.
Yeah.
Right. He got hurt his freshman year. He could have played, and then he had a neck injury. I don't mean it, but then his red shirt freshman year, he didn't become a starter until like the 16th game of the season, and he became a phenomenon in February when we went to UConn, and he took Rudy Gay. He took Rudy Gay to.
Yeah, UConn is the game that did it for me. That was like my coming out game. Like after that, and I was like, dang.
Yeah, who the hell's 12?
You could probably
Where's he been?
Yeah,
yeah. You know, so I didn't get the media training. You know, I didn't get all of the perks that you give the more elite athletes to prepare them for that. So I just was learning on the fly. Everything throughout my first probably 4-5 years in the league, I just would learn on the fly. You know, and so a lot of that stuff affected me mentally. You know, reporters would write stuff.
Make you coil up. You won't go talk.
It make you coil up. It makes you don't want to talk. So in the Duncan for Dope instance, you know, Casey's asking me. I'm already mad because I don't want to go. I don't want to go.
Was it in Vegas?
It was in Vegas.
Wow.
And I still don't like Vegas to this day.
Because of this trip?
I'm
you're just not a Vegas guy.
I don't like all those people around you, and you always, you know, but so he wound up. I say, look, man, I don't want to be there. I'm gonna just go get my check and call it a day. Boom. Wake up the next morning. Nah, actually, I didn't even see the paper. I got a call from Jerry Reinsdorf the next day. That was like the first time he called me. The owner of the team, he called me. He's like, we need to have a talk. So it's just bad. It was all bad. I got fined like $60,000.
Didn't even make the money. I was supposed to get
I'm in the hole now.
I wanted to go home.
I just wanted to go home, man. You know, and so it's just, you know, I expect. So now back to the Ben Simmons part. So now we just had the newspaper.
Yeah, right.
He probably can't even pick up his phone.
Right.
Without seeing something that bothers, you know. And if guys say that they don't bother them, it's very few that I probably believe it never bothered. You got the Michaels, the Michael Jordans, the Kobe's, the Kevin Garnett. You know, those type of guys. They just different. You know, they just wired different. You know, where.
But it may not, just because it doesn't bother them doesn't mean they didn't see it.
Yeah, it doesn't. But what I'm saying, for most guys, that can affect you.
Yeah.
You know,
small sliver.
Kevin Durant.
Everybody.
What was Jordan like? What was it like playing for him? How was y'all's relationship?
It was cool. So
was he tough on you mentally?
He tough, yes. Asshole, no. So like I always laugh when people say, "Oh, he's such a
dick."
You know, yeah, they got all the words for him, and then so I question their interactions. And so what I noticed is, like, me and M would get into it from time to time, but what I noticed is M respects you when you stand up for yourself.
Right.
M doesn't really, if you gonna let him do whatever he want, he's probably gonna do whatever he want.
Right.
And I think that's the kind of view a lot of people see him in, because they're like, oh, it's Michael Jordan. And they don't understand, man, that's a human. That's a man just like me. We put on our pants the same way. We come in the same building every day to do what? Go to work. We both coming to work in the same building. So, you know, it was cool though. Like, just being able, like, the one thing I took the most from it is being able to mess up in a game, come out and walk to the sideline, or you sitting in the game, something going on, you, what to do right here? Or like that was phenomenal. Like, I got arguably the best basketball player. He's sitting there and you're able to pick his brain in real time in game situations. Like, all right, or here, hey, look, they overplaying this, so next time spin off. Hey, DJ, you just throw it up. Like, stuff like that was cool. You know, being able to see the game from a different lens and partially see it through his. So, I mean, I'm not gonna act like I wasn't excited. I mean, it's Michael Jordan.
Sure.
I mean, I remember when I got traded, he called, he left a message. I checked the message. It's like, hey, Tyrus, Michael Jordan, I want to welcome you, Charlotte Bobcats. Can't wait to meet you. Can't wait to get you here, da-da-da-da-da. So I'm like, man, what the hell? So I called the number back. I said, yeah, somebody called Tyrus. I act like I didn't even check it out. And he just bust out laughing. He died laughing. I was like, yeah, somebody called Tyrus. But I didn't know what to say. At that time, I was like, dang, that's him calling me.
That's so good, man.
But, you know, so I definitely think that the media plays a lot on guys' mentality. Because, you know, man, you had this persona.
Sure.
You know.
Yeah.
You got this invincible persona. You got this superior persona. And a lot of it is not self-made.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
other people put you in this lens because you got to think about it. Probably with Ben, the same people that's tearing them down were the people that were building them up.
Yep.
And so that puts you in a weird, you built my confidence and now you're tearing it down.
Right. And now I don't have anybody here to build it back up.
I don't got nobody to build.
Or who do I turn to?
Yeah.
Who do I trust now? Because it's hard to trust because it was good when it was good. And when it's bad,
but now you're fake as hell.
So, you know, man, it's one of those things where I didn't think people just still too got to realize that athletes are human.
Mm-hmm.
They're human. They just good at what they do.
And entertaining.
They good. It's like the best financial advisor in the world, or the best accountant, right? Nobody wants to go to work to see them. They want them to do the work,
sure,
but they don't want to sit there and watch them
pay
do the
to
process.
watch.
They're not gonna pay. You won't pay your accountant extra to come sit and watch them do the process.
Right.
Killing that spreadsheet.
But you want them to do the best of it, but that's not entertaining to you, so you don't care. You don't care about what they do.
Right.
You don't care. It goes back to the Sha'Carri Richardson. I'm like, are you mad at her? Or are you mad at the Olympics? Or are you mad because you don't get to watch her run?
Amen. Yeah.
Because if you really care about her, you'll be wondering, okay, well, let's get to the bigger picture of why she did that. Why do people deliberately break rules? It has to be a reason. It has to be a reason that somebody on the top of their game, me, deliberately, knowingly breaks the rules. Man, we got to address that. We got to address the inside. Because when anybody at the top of their game would deliberately, man, I don't care about the rules right now. I'm hurting. I need healing.
I know what's going to work.
I need help.
Is that your purpose now for kids? Is that what if you were to give me your mission statement of what you're doing, is that kind of just
I launched my mental health platform, Orange Cloud Network, and it's basically just resources. I just want to provide as many resources and outlets I can to everybody. I identify most with black boys because that's what I once was. You know, on the inside of me, there's still a black boy that's trying to heal. You know, but it's not limited to, you know, me and you talk all the time about, like, mental health is not, mental illnesses is not, it's not exclusive to,
it's not race.
It's not exclusive to race. It's not exclusive to economical standards. It's not, you know, it could hit whoever, whenever, however, you know, and everybody has been through things that they have or could be traumatized by, and we all deal with it differently, you know. So again, man, when you got people that's at the top of their game, that's a cry for help. And so instead of scrutinizing her and criticizing her, you know, that's a cry for help. Like, you know, I think about it now. I didn't think about it then. When I called and say, hey, look, I want to self-commit, nobody asked me, well, what's going on? Like, what you got going? Why you know, like, that would have been the first thing. Well, damn.
Hold up.
You only smoking weed, saying you calling a self-commit and you only smoking weed. It ain't like you call and say, I got a crack problem.
Right.
I'm on methamphetamines. I'm smoking weed, marijuana. You know, so looking back, I wish somebody would have said, well, what's going on? Even the doctor at the time, because he was a black dude, so I probably would have talked to him more.
Right.
You know, at that time, I still was in my little phase of figuring out, you know, I only have a few y'all.
Right.
But through my life, I hadn't really had that many experiences with white people. You know, so when it comes to the mental health professionals, and that's just a different demographic when you ask me about my past, and then you don't really understand. You know, my dad's been incarcerated, my dad's on drugs, got all this different stuff going on in the family. Like, you can't relate, you know. And I think that's also, you know, with mental health, even side note, if you guys ever out there looking for a professional, look for somebody that you can relate to. That's just, I think that helps. You know,
where can people find that? Where can people find your
OrangeCloudNetwork.com, Twitter, Orange Cloud Network, Instagram, Facebook. The website right now is still just a landing page, so if you go on there, please register, submit your email, and then you'll be blasted once we start releasing more information and videos and different things that I'm putting together right now just to, man, help people heal, man. That's it. I just want to see people happy and truly happy and healthy. You know, people always check on if you walk in here with crutches, everybody get to helping you. Oh, let me get that for you. Let me do that for you. Man, my brain frying right now. Ain't nobody gonna help me?
Right.
No, nobody care because they can't see it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So just being able to help people identify, that's the big key, is identifying. Being able to identify that you're struggling. And then the resources to get the proper help. You know, some people just need a listening ear, and some people need professionals. I needed professionals.
I have known Tyrus since he's been 17 years old, and he has always had a genuine, open, caring heart. And now that he has a opportunity to make a difference, it is incredible to see. Every day he gets up and lives this life of trying to create change and trying to create problem solving for people out there that have come and experienced a lot of the same stuff that he went through growing up and made it out to be a you know, what people would deem to be very successful. And it is always good to see old friends. It is always good to talk and catch up with you. I love you. And
love you too,
we will be doing cool stuff coming up in the future. That is Tyrus Thomas. We will cut that up, and we will have that out for you on social media all day. We'll hear more on how you can join the Orange Cloud Network.
Orange Cloud Network.
We can post
Orange Cloud,
on our social.
Absolutely. We're going to link up and I'll do all that stuff together. Have a great Tuesday. Happy belated July 4th. We'll be back with you tomorrow morning at 7 a.m.
Damn, that.